Okay, we are good to go. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I'm so excited to chat with you and to talk to you about Trello. I want to first start though by sharing a little bit about myself, just so you can kind of know where I'm coming from, who I am if you don't know who I am, and then we'll get into some really exciting stuff. So, my name is Laekynn. It rhymes with bacon. So, if you weren't sure how to pronounce my name, just think of bacon. And when I was little, I always was embarrassed by that. But then I just grew into it and I was like, everybody loves bacon. So Laekynn Bacon, that's what my family calls me. I live in Texas. I grew up in Texas, but I just moved back home. So I've lived in Idaho, Utah, Vegas, and it's good to be back home in Texas. My husband always jokes that you always know if somebody's from Texas because they will tell you. And I don't know if I have any Texas people here, but it's great. So I have three little babies. I have a 3.5-year-old, an almost 2-year-old, and a 4-month-old. So we are like in the thick of it. It's pretty wild over here, but it's really fun. And it's really fun to have the opportunity to work from home. As many of you know, it's a big blessing of Zaya. So I am not actually a Zaya rep. I just work with Zaya reps and I absolutely love it. I've been working with reps for 2 years, which honestly blows my mind because I think this is like the longest actual job that I've really ever had working with reps. When I want to tell you a little bit about my background though, before I entered the Zaya world, I graduated from college with a degree in communications and in news media. And so I kind of have a social media communications background. And I've worked for adoption.com, which is one of the like biggest adoption. It's not an agency, but you learn a lot about adoption. And so I was able to help families through adoption. That was really fulfilling, cool experience. But while I was in college, I worked for a company called Social Dental. And I know what you're thinking. This is a company that matches dentists that need to find love. That's what everybody would always ask. But no, Social Dental was social media marketing for dentists. And I want to share a little bit about that because I think it really flows right into Trello and what we're going to be talking about tonight. So, working with like social media marketing, I would always tell these dentists, offices, and people that social media is like the window into your business. And so when you're driving down the road and you see a dental office, people don't know what it's like in there. They don't know what it looks like or what the people are like, and they don't know if it's clean or they want to go in there. But social media gives you this opportunity to have a window to your business, which is cool if you have like a standalone business. But you guys, your business is social media. You have your windows wide open, and that's all you see. And it is such an awesome tool. And I'm excited because if you're organized, and then you can use your social media even better to help build your business. So, going along with that, a dental office, they treat it like a business, right? There's the dentist, there's a receptionist, there's hygienists and office managers. There's lots of different people and roles and tools that they use, and they treat it like a business. And working in direct sales, the people that are most successful treat their business like a real business. And so they have intentional hours, they outsource things when they get, too much on their plate, and they use resources and tools. And so I'm going to chat with you today about a tool that you can use, and hope that you will use it to help you run your business like a business. The other cool thing about being involved with Zaya over these last 2 years and working with so many different reps. So I've worked with reps obviously all over the country, but I work with reps in Canada as well. And, I've worked with reps who are really high ranking and who are just starting out, and everybody in between. And you know what? They all run their business completely different. And it was so shocking to me when I first started working with reps because I kind of thought that everybody did it like everybody else. And then I realized everybody has their own flow. And it's amazing because when you have your own flow, you can do what works for you. And what works for you doesn't work for somebody else. And so this tool, Trello, is all about that. It's all about what works for you. And it's a beautiful thing. But before I get into it completely, I want to ask you guys a couple questions, and just rhetorical, right? Because here, that's what we're doing. But I want you to really think about this. So, are you running your business in a way that will last? Let me say that again. Are you running your business in a way that will last? Are you going to be here in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Are you going to still be able to run your business the way you're running it? I would say odds are probably not. Probably you need something to help your business, and you need to implement tools and resources. And as you grow, things will shift and you'll need to implement more things. Brenda, I love that. She asked herself that this morning. So, I've asked myself that too in the business that I'm running and helping reps. Can I keep helping reps, and what can I do differently? And being organized is a game changer to feel like you can keep running your business. Um, one of the really cool things about a 9 to 5 job is that it's 9 to 5. That when 5 o'clock hits, you turn your computer off or whatever you're doing, you walk out the door, you go home, and you're done. And you can enjoy your time and your family and your friends. And there's pros and cons, obviously, to that, right? But when we're working in direct sales, we don't have a 9 to 5. We kind of have a 24/7, and we kind of feel like this pressure that we have to be working all the time, that there's always somebody that needs something from us. And that can be really overwhelming and can lead to like having a burnout. So I want to ask you another question, something to think about. Are you finding time to close your business doors and take guilt-free time off? Are you having guilt-free time off? Because I don't really have guilt-free time off very much. I think that a lot of times we might take time off because we need to or because we have to, but we always have this like little guilt of like, I have such a big to-do list. I don't know when I'm going to get to all this. I should be working on this. Maybe your to-do list is so overwhelming that you're like, I don't even know what to start. Like, I know I have so many things to do, but I don't even know what to do first. Okay, so hopefully we're all on the same page now of like, we're all in this together. We get this. You get the weekend. Maybe you close your doors on the weekend and you don't have guilt. That's awesome. But Trello is what's going to help us. And I'm going to share about it now. So Trello is just an organizational tool. That's all it is. It's just an organizational tool. And so you don't need to be scared of it, because I know that sometimes when we learn about a new tool or a new resource, we're like, I can't do that. I can't learn something new or implement something different because I've got already too much going on. But it's just for organization. And if you're a person that loves to be organized, you will love it. And if you're a person who's like, I need to be organized, I can't do it myself, then you're going to love it too. So it works however you want it to work. You decide the system, you decide the flow, and however you want it to work, it'll work. And so I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how it works. And I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can kind of set it up. But there is, as many people are on here, there's that many ways to use it. No, nobody's in the waiting room right now that I can see, but I can usually see them. So I'm going to show you, these flows. So let me share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you. So one thing to note is that when you first Google Trello and you get on there, if you haven't created an account, it will have a really simple screen, and you'll just create a login account. And then it'll ask you to create a Trello board. So this is a Trello board that I've created. And so I'm going to use this as an example. So there are these different columns. And you can label them whatever you want, and you can add as many as you want. And so this first flow that I'm going to talk about that you can use Trello for, and remember, this is just an example of something you can do, is your to-do task flow. I'm going to use the word flow a lot, and I don't think I've ever used it this much. So your to-do task flow. So this first column that I created as an example is my weekly goals. So I'm going to sit down And once a week, maybe I'm going to write down what my goals are for this week. And so here are some examples of different goals. So maybe I need to reach out to customer service. I want to get on the team call. I want to call a gym about an in-person party. I have some customers I need to follow up with, some hosts I need to follow up with, and I want to work on making some graphics. Now, this is a very short to-do list. Your to-do list can be as long as you want. And let me tell you, my to-do list is super long, but just dump it all right here, because the worst thing you can do is just have your to-do list in your head, because that's when things fall through the cracks. That's when you feel overwhelmed. That's when you feel burnt out, is because there's just so much going on in your head. Get it down on your Trello. The other amazing thing about Trello is that it's an app and it's super easy. And I'm going to show you that too at the end. But this is the desktop version. So get your to-do list out. And then every day when you're ready to start working, you can look at your to-do list and figure out, what am I going to do that day? Because I want you to have guilt-free time off, and you have guilt-free time off when you have done your to-do list. At least that's how I work. When I've done what I set out to do, then I feel like guilt-free. So let me show you a couple of things. So this is the first tab right here. You can label it whatever you want. It'll be completely blank, this board will be, but you'll have a little plus sign and you can add this little card. And then you can add other little cards underneath it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you add a card, you can call it whatever you like your card to be. So maybe one of my to-dos is to reach out to Jen. And Jen is a customer that I want to host a party. So if that's something that I want to do that day, I can move it over here, so I know that that's what I'm doing that day. And I'm also going to follow up with some customers. I'm also going to reach out to customer service. It's not Tuesday, so I'm not going to be on that meeting, but I'm going to try to make some graphics too. So I move those things over. Everything else I'm okay to not do today, but you can always, add things, right? So reach out to Jen. If you wanted to add things to this, maybe it's a little bit more in depth and you want to have more information there. You can add a description. You can add her phone number here, or her address if you need to mail her something, whatever details you want to remember here. You can add a label. So that just makes it a different color. And so you can label your labels like actual things. I can create a name for it. So like my blue ones are money makers. I know if I do that, it's going to help me make some money. But maybe your purple ones are just like follow-ups, and everything is follow-up. You just label purple. You can label it multiple colors. So maybe it's a follow-up and it's a money maker. So if you're a color person, that's a really great tool that you can use. You can add checklists. So you can type in things that you have to do. You can title your checklists, but then you can mark it off. And once you mark it off, it'll show you right here that things are marked off, and I'll cross it out. But you can add as many items as you want. I think you can add like 200. So you can just go, if you like to check things off, you can check things off. You can add attachments. So if you wanted to put a graphic in here to save it for later, or you saw somebody's graphic and you screenshotted it, and you can throw it in here so you can remember what it looks like when you're ready to make that graphic. You can add notes down here for yourself if you wanted to have them outside of the description. There's a lot of different cool things to do here. Now, I am by no means like a guru expert on Trello. I use the basics that work for me, but there are a lot of things that you can dive into, and you can always look at them on YouTube as well. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Okay. Okay, perfect. Sorry, guys. I am still learning how to have everything up at once. Okay. So let me show you one of my things. So this is a follow-up for customers. So you can see I already added some checklists and I added some extra notes. And so I can, keep track of who I need to talk to. So Lila asked, can you categorize your to-do list by day, job, Zaya, personal, etc.? So you can you figure out your flow for doing this. You can do this by doing colors. Maybe everything that's family related is one color, and maybe everything that's Zaya related is another color. So you can kind of easily look at your checklist. But I'm going to show you some other things with this as well. So when I'm reaching out, maybe I'm reaching out to Jen, I might want to put it in progress because I'm working on it, but I'm waiting for her to reply. So it's not really finished yet, but I know I've kind of started that. And I've emailed customer service, but I haven't heard back from them, or maybe I have, but I still need to reach out to Kate to let them know what they're going to do. I move it into in progress. And maybe you leave some things in progress over the next couple days because you're waiting on things and you can't finish it, right? But when you are all done, you can put it in your done column if you want, and you can do a big hip hip hooray because you finished your task. And you can also delete it. So you can come over here and you can archive it. So it won't be gone forever, but it'll be deleted off your board and you're done, and you can feel accomplished about that. And so that's kind of how you can use it as a to-do list and moving things along. Another way that you can do it, and this is something that I do, is I have my constant to-do list. And it is long. And it's not necessarily my weekly goals, but it's just like everything that I need to do in my business. So maybe you love to have like check-ins with your girls on a certain day. Like the 15th of every month, you make sure you check in with everybody. So you can have that there. And when it's time for your weekly, when that's part of your weekly goal, then you can move it over to your weekly goals. But I think the main thing is, like, for me, I just love having everything out so that I don't have to hold anything in my brain. And you can always add notes to it and update it and delete it and change it. There's so much you can do with it. Yeah. And Lila also said about like having your ideas, putting your ideas on here. So maybe it's not something that you can deal with right now, but it's something that you want to do in the future. Put it down here. So this is kind of like how the to-do list could flow. And as you can see, there's so many different ways you can do it with colors and how you organize it. But I want to talk about the next flow, and that's restocks. So there's a couple different ways you can do this, and maybe you'll come up with an even better way, but this is some ideas that I had. So one thing about Trello is you don't have to have one board. So this is called my Xyafire training board because that's what I named it, but you can have a lot of boards. So this is like maybe your to-do list board, but you could have a different board that's your restock board, that only things to do with restocks are on that board. And maybe you organize it in one column on, you keep everything on one board and you have just a restock column and you put things in. So I labeled this one of the items, and then I wrote in who needs that item and what size they need to keep track of that. Or maybe you have a restock board. And so instead of having it all in one column, you have its separate column and you have each size and you have which person needs what size. And maybe green for me means that I got that ordered, but red means I still need to order some people's. So I can easily look out, what sizes I need and what I need. And you can put more information on it. We have in Xyafire this amazing resource where you can they post the restock and then everybody posts their pictures, right? The Xyafire marketing page. Everybody posts their pictures. So you could take some of those pictures and you could literally just drop them right in here so that you don't even have to get on the Facebook page when restocks hit. You already have your stash of pictures right here. And as you see people post pictures, you can add them over here so that you kind of have your own curated picture board of other reps and different sizes and things like that. So that's a way that you can use the restock board. Heather asked, does it send reminders? So like if you put a team call at 7 Central, will it send you a reminder? It's a really good question. So you can put to-dos, like you can put deadlines, but I don't know if it will send you a notification to your phone, but you can set dates of when something is supposed to happen. So if you're trying to get something done at a certain time, or you have a team call on a certain night, you can put the date in, you can put the time in, and it says it will remind you. So I'm thinking that if you have your notifications on, that it will remind you, but I would test that. Don't just rely on that because of what I've said. But that's a really great question. And it's so nice to give yourself some to-dos or some due dates. And so some things have to-do dates, right? Some things don't, but you can add those in there as well. The next flow I want to chat with you about really quick is Oh, Meredith asks, does it show your to-do list on the board? Yes, it will show it just like it shows these colors. It will show your to-do list right next to it. And when you have it checked off, it'll show that it's checked off. Okay, if you guys are looking, Heather said that she added a to-do list and it showed if you wanted a notification, it let you. So thank you so much, Heather. It's awesome. So yeah, start using those to-do lists. So the next flow is your team flow. So obviously we have like our team Facebook page. Maybe you have some smaller branches of your own team Facebook pages that aren't Zaya Fire. But you can create a board that's just for your team. And maybe it's just for you so you can keep things organized for your team. You can maybe have every rep on your first line's name and information that you're going over with them, their goals. Maybe you have their goal for the year. Maybe you have their goal for the month. Maybe you have, things that they're working on, things that they're struggling on. Have your own notes about each of your reps so that you can actually add some value when you talk to them and when you meet with them, because how are you supposed to remember everything about everybody? Don't keep it in your head, keep it somewhere else and keep it on your Trello. So that's one way you can use it for your team. Or maybe you see a team promo from somebody else and you're like, oh, I want to remember that for later. Add a board, add a little card and say team promos, and then drop in your ideas there so that later on when you're like, what am I going to do for my team? I need something creative. I need something different. I need something fresh. Oh, I have a board where I've been collecting all of those things. The other really amazing thing, that way you can use this for your team, is you can share boards. So some of these boards you're going to want to keep personal to yourself because it's your own to-do list, it's your own life, but you can literally share a board with somebody else and you can both be working off the board. So if your team is working on a project together, or you have some kind of goal you're working towards and you're wanting collaboration on it, you can share it with your team members or share it with your leaders and say, hey, we're going to plan this booking blitz and we need help with these parts of it. So we're all going to be on this board and we're going to sign out tasks. And when we've completed something, we're going to check it off. We're going to collaborate together here so that it's not lost in our text messages or in our group chats, but you have it all clean and organized here on your team flow board. So like Heather mentioned, and I mentioned this earlier, there is a Trello app and it's free and you log into it just like you would log into here. Let me stop sharing my screen really quick so I can see better. So you can have a ton of different boards. This is where you can see all my different boards that I use. And if I can click into any of these boards and it looks just like the board I just showed you, just like in the mobile version. But you can click in here, you can add cards. So I'm a big desktop person. If you know me at all, I'm always on my desktop, but that's because I'm home with my babies all day. Some of you are on the go doing more than staying home all day. So the mobile version is super user-friendly. I always tell people, use the desktop version. The desktop version is the best version for everything. I'm like a big Canva, use the desktop version. Don't use the mobile version. That's what I tell and what I preach. But Trello is different. Trello, the mobile version, is awesome. And so you can literally click in here and I can just add a card and I can add a reminder to myself that I need to reach out to this somebody. Or somebody messages me about a return and I can just say, okay, return Josie. And then I think about it when I get home, when I can work on returns, but it's not stuck in my head. And so the mobile version, keeping that constant to-do list in your mobile version is amazing and so helpful. Yes, Trello is free too. Trello is totally free. I know that there's upgrades, there's always upgrades, right? But also, if you know me, I'm all about the free version. I will make anything work to use the free version before I will pay $5 to use the $5 version. So it's free and it's so user-friendly. It's so easy. So I hope that as you've kind of looked through things, as I kind of wrap this up, you can see that it's really up to you and how you want to do it and how you want to set up your system. And that's a pro. don't think of that as a negative, because I know sometimes you can look at something and think, this is overwhelming because I don't know what to do. But I've given you some ideas of how you can set things up. And there's lots of YouTube videos, and everybody kind of uses their Trello different, but you use it for what works for you and try it. And if it's not working for you, that's okay. Find something else that will work. But I know if you're using Trello or some kind of organizational tool, but I'm a fan of Trello, you'll have guilt-free time off, because you can put your to-do list in there and you can say, I accomplished this and now I'm going to take a break. And my to-do list will still be there when I'm done with my break. And that's the beauty of it, because it will still be there. Because my to-do list in my head, it sometimes disappears and I don't remember things. And then I'm even more stressed. But I want you to feel like you can keep running this business. Like long term, you can run at a good rate because you've gotten everything out on paper and it's not stuck in your head. So that's what I have for you guys tonight on Trello. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that, you got something out of it. If anything, I hope you can find some time to take some guilt-free time off. But if you do have questions about Trello or other things that I can help with, because I do a lot of different things, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to answer your questions personally, because I know sometimes you just have a little question that you need help with. So I'm going to drop my email. Thank you guys so much for all your thank yous. I'm going to drop my email in the chat. And so feel free to reach out if you have questions, but we'll end it there. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have an awesome night.